My parents split when I was 11. All right. And my mom took me and my sisters to my nanny's place. Okay. But very soon after, now I hardly knew my dad, and he worked all day, every day. So I'd only see him on Sundays. Okay. And so I really hadn't have a tight relationship with my dad. But I love my dada and dadi, and I love Sam's Tailor, and I loved who we are. Okay. And back then, my dad hadn't worked with the United States president yet. He had worked with the United Kingdom royal family, including the Queen and her husband, whilst my parents were still together. And he had worked with, talking about pre-divorce, specifically Margaret Thatcher. I mean, it's fucking huge at that time. You understand what I'm saying? Right? We were talking about, when Thatcher's Thatcher, right? And then, of course, like the whole host of other celebrities that I just mentioned, including all those tennis players and those Australian stars and those American stars and stuff. And you can't get bigger than Wham and Pet Shop Boys in the mid-1980s. You talk about Wham, George Michael, Andrew Ridgeley, and the Pet Shop Boys in the 1980s. Prior to that, he worked with David Bowie, in the 1970s. You know what I'm saying? For my father, the list goes on and on and on. So, I'm a good Sindhi boy, right? And stuff. And I'm a good Sindhi boy when it comes to being a Sindhi boy. That doesn't have to be stereotypical, and that doesn't have to be discriminatory, right? I mean, you can be whoever the fuck you want to be, bro. Virat Kohli's not Sindhi. I fucking love him. Do you understand what I'm saying, right? It doesn't mean I only love Sindhis and stuff, but I want, I have a cultural and traditional value set that I wanted to adhere to. And, in that period of time, divorce wasn't one of them. Okay. We're talking about 1988 here and stuff. I wanted to be with my family. I wanted to be with the Melwanis. And I realized that I was the last of my lineage. Okay. And even at a very young age, that kind of shit was important to me. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. And my sisters were very young. And I was like, Mom, I've got to go. I can't leave Dad alone. And I did. And my father was surprised and heartbroken. Again, heartbroken because so overwhelmed that his son, who he hardly has a relationship with, has come and worked with him. Mera baap hai? Baal ke nahi? Tell him to come here. I'll introduce you to my father. Okay?
Sure.
And so I've been with my dad since, since from 88 to now 2023, soon to be 2024. And it was the allure of the clients. It was the allure of heritage. It was the allure. Papa, come here. This is my father. This is Pratham in India. Come and say hello. Jaldi na. The great man himself. Come, he can't see you. You've got to come and sit here. Sit down for a minute. Yeah, okay. No, you need to sit down. Yeah. Jada Zidi, na? So the great man himself, he's an MBE from Queen Elizabeth. He is knighted by the King of Belgium, and he has a whole host of other awards from the Hong Kong government.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you, sir.
So I don't think it was, do you want to be a tailor, right? Like, and stuff. It wasn't about the job. It was about working alongside my father, who was a great man, who was doing great things already before he was awarded all this stuff. I remember when my parents were still together, my father took me to the presidential suite of the Mandarin Oriental to work with the Danish royal family. We're talking about the king, queen, princesses of Denmark. Now, to me today, whoever you are, whichever country you are, a prince or princess, king or queen, okay, you are somebody to me. Okay, I respect stuff like that. All right, the youth of this world globally don't. I think Asians primarily do. Anglo-Saxons definitely don't. Okay, and stuff. But if you ask anybody, would you like to be born a king or a prince? If they're telling you no, they're fucking lying to you, bro. They're fucking lying to you. Whoever says no, they're fucking lying to you. And then that shows you the measure of them. So why wouldn't I want to be my father's son if that is my birthright? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was never about I wanted to be a tailor. It was I wanted to be a part of this thing that's special, that I don't really know anything about, because my father's not a good teacher. In fact, he doesn't teach. My father taught me how to swim, and now I'm a great swimmer, by throwing me at the deep end of the pool every Sunday. And he'd say, go die, die. He wouldn't say drown. I'd be crying and crying and crying. I'm 10 and under, and it could be 5, it could be 6 or 7. But he'd never jump in and get me, because he can't fucking swim himself. So he's not the deep end. And I never went for swimming lessons, but I'm a great swimmer. So my strokes aren't great, but I'll stay in the water forever. Okay. When I went on my first mail order trip, and I've only done 4 or 5. I went to London thrice, New York once, and Singapore once. When I was cutting my teeth, okay, working for my dad in those first few years, and I book a suite in a foreign city, and I take orders and stuff. I'm about to go to New York. I've never done this in my life. It's very early in my career, and I told my dad, "Are you going to teach me how to measure? Are you going to teach me how to measure?" He said, "No. Who the fuck taught me?" Which is bullshit, because he learned, and he had a lot more years behind him before he started doing these shows. So one of my tailors, a guy called Hong, taught me how to measure. And fear is fuel. You know what I'm saying? Fear is fuel. A lot of people who are scared, I teach my son, don't ever be scared. Fear is fuel, right? It moves you forward.